In this video I want to quickly show you what happens when a request hits your WordPress website. What is being loaded at what stage, what is being done at what stage, and give you a general idea. I'm not going to go too in-depth because this video would take hours if we want to take in all those classes and functions that WordPress uses. Just give you a general idea. So let's get started. Every request that goes through WordPress starts at index.php. Now, one of the things that happens here, obviously there is a global defined, but more importantly, WP block header.php is being required. So let's see what's in that file. So within this file, a couple of important things are happening. WP load is required. The WordPress query is being set up, and we have the template loader being required. But first, let's go into WP load. So this file is responsible for loading your WP config file. It's basically the configuration file of your WordPress site, which holds a couple of global constants. And this file is responsible for loading that file or determining whether you need to create one. So if you start from scratch with a WordPress site, you will not have a WP config file, and it needs to be created, and you'll go through that process with a setup flow, which is what happens here. But if you have set up your WP config, it will be loaded. So let's go to our WP config file. Now within this file, as I said, a lot of global constants are being defined. For example, your database credentials, your keys and salts, your table prefix, which is a global variable. You can set whether you are in debugging mode or not. And last but not least, WP settings is being loaded. And this is a very important file, as you'll see. So let's jump into it. Now this file is responsible for loading just about anything in WordPress. It will load your themes, it will load your plugins, it will do specific things for a multi-site environment if you're using that. It will set up localization. It does a lot of things. So I'm not going to go step by step through this file. I'm just going to go through the most important things. I believe, at least. What you'll see here, this is pretty important. This is your global WPDB variable. And that holds an instance of the WPDB class, which you'll find in the WP includes folder. Now this file, this class, is responsible for all the interaction your WordPress website has with your database. Then a whole lot of files within your WP includes folder are being loaded. It's way too much to go through all those, I have to say. What is important though, like I said earlier, is that your plugins are being loaded. So here it will load the active network plugins. Now this is only used when you are using WordPress multi-site. And here it will load all your active and valid plugins in general. Now these are the plugins which are located in your plugins directory. And here it will load your active and valid themes. Now within your themes it will look for the functions.php file. Now once everything is loaded and everything has been gone through in this file, you'll see this, do action WP loaded. Now we will go into what do action actually means. It's something you'll see throughout WordPress all the time, do action, and another one is apply filters, which are instrumental in the workings of WordPress. So we'll go through that in just a second. So let's go back to WP block header, because that's where we jumped into WP load. So here it will set up the WordPress query, and here in the template loader, it will determine which template file it needs to show. So it will check on what kind of page we are at this moment. Are we on a archive? Are we on a author page? Are we on the front page? And based on that, it will determine in your active theme which template file it needs to show. Now within the template loader, you'll see this, apply filters, template include. Like I said earlier, do action and apply filters are very instrumental in WordPress. It enables you as a plugin developer or as a theme developer to hook into all sorts of events and content within your WordPress website. It makes it so that you can modify just about anything. So I just want to quickly show you how you can utilize those filters and action hooks. Let's say you have a WordPress website and you only want to show the content of your posts to people who are logged in. As you can see here, I'm not logged in now, and I can see all the content of this website. As you can see, this function is responsible for displaying the post content. Here you can see that it applies a filter, and the name is the content, and it passes a variable called content, which we could use in our custom filter. So let's go ahead and do just that. Just going to type add filter, the content, pass the variable. Now if we only want to show the content to logged in users, we could do something like this. Else, we'll return a message like, you must be logged in to view this post. Okay, so let's see if that works. Boom. As you can see, it works. We can only now view this post if we are logged in. So let's check if it's still visible if we are in fact logged in. And that's the case. All right. So an example of a action hook would be, I've created this test post, and with our action we are going to filter the global WP query. I only want this is a test post to be listed here. So how would that work? For example, we could do something like this. We hook into pre-get posts, which receives the global WP query as a variable. And let's say we want to search on the keyword test. And based on that, we want to retrieve the results of posts. We could do something like this. Now, if we were now to refresh the page, you'll see that only that post is being listed. Now, this is maybe a bit of an odd example because you might want to check all sorts of things. This is not really a example that you would use in practice. So this concludes our walkthrough through what happens in WordPress when you send a request to it. I think we've seen a nice example of the event-driven pattern that WordPress uses through its actions and filter hooks. I really like it because it gives you so much power to customize WordPress in any way you basically want. So yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. If you didn't like the video, please consider double clicking on the thumbs down button. Bye.